So if you think being an expert will make you successful faster, you're wrong. In fact, acting like an expert could be the one thing that is stopping you from growing, landing opportunities, and even thriving in tech. Let's go ahead and talk about it. So if you're new, my name is Zazo. I've been in the tech industry for 8 years, a little over 8 years, and I've done various roles in the tech industry. And if you've worked in tech, well, even if you haven't worked in tech, we all know that person that's the expert, right? The know-it-all. Don't be that person. I'm gonna explain why you don't want to be that person right now. So in order to kind of set the stage, I'm gonna give you a little story about something that's happened recently. So I have essentially a junior dev that supports me in what I do, and we had an automation process that we needed to update and add more functionality to. And when we got the request, I already had an idea of what I wanted to do in my head. Being kind of on this team for a couple years already, I kind of know how everything works, so I already came up with a solution mentally. It was just about building it out. However, she came to me and she actually recommended a different solution. And if I would have had that expert mindset, I would have blocked out every single thing that she was saying and just went with my way of doing things. And her solution actually seemed to be quite seamless to integrate. It may not be the most optimized, but we learned a lot while doing it her way. So I'm gonna explain why this expert mindset is actually so dangerous. And I've fallen into this trap before of being that expert in a specific expertise, and it stops you from doing a couple things. You stop listening to feedback, you stop asking questions because you just know everything. You miss the better solution because you're stuck on just your way, which is kind of what I had to battle with that story that I told you about this junior, right? I wanted to do it my way, and I knew that my way would work, but allowing, her to kind of express her creativity in solving this problem benefits her and also benefits me, because the way that she did it, I would have not thought of that at all. So I even learned something new. And you kind of create a ceiling for yourself without realizing it. Like, you will only know what you know because nothing else new is kind of adding to that and helping you level up. You're just continuously in your own bubble. And I've seen it plenty of times before. Those devs can get left behind because they're so stuck on, their COBOL and Fortran that it's 20 years down the road and we're way past that. Not saying there's not a place for that, but you never kind of get with the times. You always remain in this one little box. So what I like to think of the better way of doing this, or the better mindset to have, is always coming from a beginner mindset, or always being a beginner, always coming in with the learner mindset as if like you are also entry level. Even though you've been doing it for I don't know how many years, you kind of act accordingly. And what this does is it allows you to grow faster because you learn things. Everybody comes from different walks of life and have done many different types of projects and different nuances to every field. And just because somebody is a junior and somebody may be more senior or mid-level, doesn't mean that junior does not have some valuable input or some valuable ways of doing things. That's how you grow faster, because you're always open to learning, right? You stay open to better ideas, right? Your way isn't the only way. And I think in tech, we should all know that there's not only one way to do it. So there's multiple different ways of doing the same thing. And we need to take in other people's account, because that just makes us better, that makes them better, that makes overall the team better. And you really start to build deep skills because you're curious and you're not proud, right? So being curious about any little thing, like, how does this work? How did you make this happen, right? Instead of, having the expert mindset and just completely disregarding asking questions because you don't care because your way or the highway, you never learn about those little intricacies that you could take from whoever it is, more senior, more entry level, taking those nuggets and putting them in your tool belt, because you know what you know, and that's the only thing you want to know, right? So another thing is you actually work better with people, because people want to actually help humble people that are curious, people that want to know what they know. As people, we love to talk about the stuff that we know and ourselves. So by being humble and coming with this curious mindset, you kind of enable people to kind of share more of their little tricks and tips that they can give you to really help you, because you are a humble person and you're coming from that learner and that beginner mindset. So I'm gonna give you some actionable things that you can do to actually start, if you're not in this learner mindset or this beginner mindset, as I would call it, to get into it and really just see your expertise kind of grow in a sense, and you get really started on leveling up as a tech professional. So you always want to ask questions, right? And now I'm a firm believer, there definitely are dumb questions. Now, depending on the person, the same question may be less or more dumb, right? So make sure that you're asking questions, but you're also listening to the response. Hearing and listening are two different things. Make sure you're actively listening to the response and have follow-up questions after that. Have a conversation, right? Ask those questions. Seek mentorship from people ahead of you, and also don't be afraid to do the other thing. Don't be afraid to kind of, even if it's not formal or anything, kind of be a mentor to a more entry level or someone who's newer on the team, because that also helps you kind of foster this same type of mindset for the team, which ultimately makes you better. The entry level dev that I mentioned earlier, she is doing, and what I would think, outperforming a lot of the other entry levels that are on our team. And I think it's really because I try to do a good job of hearing her out and letting her express her creative freedom with creating solutions. Even if they aren't the most touched up at first, we can work on that, but you definitely don't want to limit anybody's creativity. That's how you get them in that mindset of, we always did it this way, so that's the only way to do it. And I absolutely hate that, because there's always a new way to do things. Things are always changing. So celebrate the progress over just proving yourself. There's a time and place to prove yourself for sure, but let's celebrate the progress of, hey, I learned something new today that I didn't know, an hour ago. And in your mind, replace, oh, I know. Those people that just continue to say, oh, I know. Yeah, I know. Oh, I know. Don't be that person, right? Go into it with the mindset of, this person's coming to me to speak about whatever. What can I learn from this conversation? Let me ask some questions. Let me learn about this system. Let me learn about how this system works with our system. If I learn that, I may be able to create my solution easier. Always come in at learning something or trying to get something out of it here, instead of always being the one that is just talking and being, the one that knows every single thing about every single thing. The thing is with tech, you don't know every single thing. I'm sorry, you don't. And you will never know every single thing. So that's what I feel makes the better developers, is just always having that learner mindset and always willing to learn that next thing, no matter who it's coming from, right? So the people that win at the end of the day are not the ones who act like they know everything. They're the ones that are hungry to learn everything. So stay beginner and stay unstoppable. So if this hit home for you in any type of way, go ahead and like the video, comment down below, and subscribe to the channel. Love, peace, and chicken grease. I'll see y'all in the next one. I'm out.